You step into the elevator. The doors close behind you with a soft thud, sealing you in a small, confined space. It's just you and the soft hum of fluorescent lights. The gentle vibration of the elevator moving is almost soothing. You press the button for your floor. Suddenly the lights flicker, casting eerie shadows on the walls. The hum becomes a groan. Then, silence. The control panel goes dark and the lights turn off, plunging you into darkness. The elevator lurches and your stomach leaps into your throat. You're weightless, you're falling. The sensation is disorienting and terrifying. It's a scene straight out of a nightmare, a primal fear we've all likely entertained at some point. The kind of fear that wakes you up in a cold sweat. The ground seems miles away and the walls feel like they're closing in. The confined space amplifies your anxiety. Your mind races, trying to grasp the reality of the situation. Panic sets in as you struggle to think clearly. Are you really plummeting towards the earth? The thought is almost too much to bear. This terrifying scenario, thankfully, is incredibly rare. Most elevator rides are uneventful, with people coming and going without a second thought. Elevators are, statistically speaking, remarkably safe. They undergo rigorous safety inspections and maintenance. They are designed with multiple layers of safety mechanisms, making a free fall incredibly unlikely. But still, what if? What if the unthinkable happened? What if you found yourself in this nightmare scenario? What would you do? How would you react in those crucial moments? Let's get one thing straight. Contrary to popular belief, frantically pressing all the buttons won't magically halt the elevator's descent. This isn't a video game where button mashing solves everything. Modern elevators are marvels of engineering. They don't rely on a single cable to hold your weight. Instead, they employ multiple high-strength cables, each capable of supporting the elevator's weight alone. And if, by some bizarre chance, all cables were to fail, a sophisticated braking system kicks in, gripping the guide rails and bringing the elevator to a controlled stop. So, no, pressing all the buttons won't help. It'll just make you look like you're having a panic attack, which, let's be honest, is a perfectly valid reaction in this situation. Okay, so you're in a falling elevator. It's a terrifying thought, isn't it? The ground beneath you suddenly gives way and you're plummeting downwards with nothing to stop you. Let's break down the physics of this unsettling situation. Understanding the science might not stop the fall, but it can help us grasp what's happening. Gravity, that relentless force, is pulling you and the elevator downwards. It's the same force that makes an apple fall from a tree or keeps the planets in orbit. As you fall, you'll accelerate at a rate of 9.8 meters per second squared. This acceleration is constant, meaning your speed keeps increasing as long as you're falling. That means for every second you're falling, your speed increases by about 22 miles per hour. Imagine how fast that is after just a few seconds. Now you might be thinking, can't I just jump right before the elevator hits the bottom? It's a common thought, a last-ditch effort to save yourself. In theory, it sounds plausible. If you could jump at the exact right moment, you might think you could counteract the fall. But in reality, timing it perfectly is next to impossible. The human reaction time is simply not fast enough to make that split-second decision. Not to mention, even if you could time your jump perfectly, you'd only be negligibly reducing your impact velocity. The difference would be so small, it wouldn't make much of a difference. You'd need to exert a force equal to your weight to counteract the force of gravity, and that's not something most of us can do in a confined space while panicking. The best thing to do is to brace yourself and hope for the best. Section 4. Spreading out for survival, your best bet in a free fall. So what can you do to increase your chances of survival in this unlikely event? It's a scenario that most of us never think about, but knowing what to do can make all the difference. The best strategy, surprisingly, is quite simple. Lie flat on your back on the elevator floor. This might seem counterintuitive, but it's the most effective way to protect yourself. Why? Because this position helps to distribute the force of impact over the largest possible surface area of your body. By spreading out, you minimize the pressure on any one part of your body. Think of it like this. Would you rather drop an egg flat on a table or on its pointy end? The flat drop spreads the force, reducing the chance of breakage. The same principle applies here. By lying flat, you give yourself the best chance to absorb the impact safely. And for heaven's sake, protect your head. Your head is particularly vulnerable in a fall, and taking steps to shield it can prevent serious injury. Cushion it with your arms, a bag, or even your jacket. Anything that can provide a buffer between your head and the hard surfaces around you will help. Your brain is your most valuable asset, and you'll want to keep it in tip-top shape. Remember, in a free fall, every second counts, and knowing these tips could be the key to your survival. Section 5, Tales from the Abyss Real-Life Elevator Escapades. You might be surprised to learn that people have actually survived falls in elevators. One remarkable story involves Betty Lou Oliver, an elevator operator in the Empire State Building. In 1945, a B-25 bomber crashed into the building, severing the elevator cables. Betty plunged 75 floors but miraculously survived, thanks in part to the cushioning effect of the severed elevator cables at the bottom of the shaft. While Betty's story is an extraordinary example of survival against the odds, it underscores the point that even in a seemingly hopeless situation, there's always a chance. Section 6. So, you're in a falling elevator. Now what? So let's recap. You're in a falling elevator. Don't waste time pressing buttons. Instead, focus on what you can control, your position. Lie flat on your back, protect your head, and hold on tight. And hey, while you're at it, try to find a moment of humor in the absurdity of it all. Imagine yourself floating weightlessly in a metal box, a fleeting moment of freedom from the relentless pull of gravity. It might just be the most exciting and terrifying ride of your life. Section 7. Beyond the drop elevators aren't so scary after all. While the thought of a falling elevator can send shivers down your spine, remember that such events are incredibly rare. Elevators are designed with your safety in mind, incorporating numerous backup systems to prevent catastrophic failures. So the next time you step into an elevator, take a deep breath and relax. Enjoy the brief respite from the stairs and appreciate the marvel of engineering that is whisking you upwards. And if by some cosmic coincidence you do find yourself in a free fall, you'll know exactly what to do. Now, tell me, dear reader, what would you do if you were in a falling elevator? Would you panic and be terrified, or stay calm and follow these steps in the video? Type in your comments below. We would love to read them here at Conrad's Brain Candy.